Hi students, welcome to Nellanadar Voice YouTube channel. Students, last class we have seen the topic that is differential calculus. So today I am going to teach integral calculus. Students, integral calculus means here the integration is basically an area finding process. It is used to find the area. For certain geometric shape, we can directly find the area, but for the irregular shape, the process of integration is used. Okay, students. So, if the geometrical shape, we can use the direct method to find the area. Example, for the area of the triangle, it is calculated by using the formula of 1 divided by 2 b into h. Okay, directly you can substitute the values and find out the area for the geometrical shape. So if a physical quantity it does not have the geometrical shape, here for the irregular shape, here the process of integration is used. Okay, so consider for example the area of the rectangle and an irregularly shaped curve, it is also shown in the figure. Okay, so here this is one of the rectangle and this is one of the slope. So here the area of the rectangle, it is also simply calculated by using the formula of A is equal to length and breadth. So here the length is calculated, that is a difference between the B and A, that is B minus A is a length of the rectangle and it has a breadth is C. So here the area is calculated by using the formula of B minus A into breadth C. Okay students, so this is one of the regular shape. Okay, it can be easily calculated by using the direct method. So here there is given the one slope, so we need to calculate the area covered by the slope, means here it is calculated by using the integration. Okay, so for the regular shaped physical quantity, we can calculate the area by using the direct method. For the irregular shape, the process of integration is used. Okay, so to find the area of the irregular shaped curve given by f of x, we divide the area into rectangular strips. It is also shown in the figure. Okay, so here this slope, it is also split into regular shape. Okay, so like the area under the curve is approximately equal to the sum of the area of each rectangular strip. Okay, here the slope, it is also divided into many regular shaped quantity. Okay, so here the area of the curve is approximately equal to the sum of the area of the each rectangular strips. Okay, from this we can calculate, it is also given by the area is equal to, it is approximately equal to f of a into del x plus f of x1 into del x, next plus f of x2, this value is x2 into del x plus f of x3 into del x. Okay, so here the f of a is the value of the function. So here we can calculate the f of x at x is equal to a, means okay, f of x at x is equal to a. So it is give the values of f of a. Next, f of x1 is the value of f of x. It is the value of f of x for the x is equal to x1. Okay, so this way here what is the meaning for f of x2? The f of x2 means it is the value of the f of x when x is equal to x2. Okay, so and so on. As we increase the number of steps, the area evaluated becomes more accurate. Okay, so at the time of we split the curve into many rectangular strips, we increase the number of strips, the area evaluated becomes more accurate. If the area under the curve is divided into n strips, the area under the curve is given by the formula A is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to n f of xn del xn. So as the number of strips goes into infinitive, here the n gives infinitive, the sum becomes an integral. So A is equal to integral of a to b, lower limit a, upper limit b, that is integral of a to b f of x dx. Okay, as n gives infinitive, here the del x gives 0. So the integration will give the total area under the curve f of x. This is also shown in the figure. Okay, if you calculate the values of a is equal to integral of a to b f of x dx, means here this integration will give the area under the curve. Okay, that is f of x. Examples. In physics, the work done by a force f of x on an object to move it from a point A to point B in one dimension is given by the W is equal to integral of a to b f of x dx. Okay, so here we take one physical quantity, that is a force. In physics, the work done by a force is calculated by using the integration method. W is equal to integral of a to b f of x dx. Here no scalar product is recorded here, since motion here is in the one dimension. Okay, so here the motion is in a one dimension, so no scalar product is recorded here, because the object is moving along the x direction only. It is only one dimension. Okay, so no scalar product is recorded here. So the work done is the area under the force displacement graph. It is also shown in the figure. Okay, here the force f of x, here the object is moved from the A to B. The work done is given by the area covered by the curve. The area under the curve, it is given the work done. Next, the impulse given by the force in an interval of time is calculated between the interval from time t is equal to 0 to time t is equal to t1. So here it is also given by the integration method. Impulse is equal to integral 0 to t1. Okay, initial time t is equal to 0, final time t is equal to t1. So that is 0 to t1 f into dt. So the impulse is the area under the force function f of t. Okay, with respect to t, graph is also shown in the figure. Okay, so here we take the time in x-axis, the force in y-axis. So here we can write that impulse I is also given by the area under the curve. Okay, so there is f of t. Okay, there is a f of t means there is a force with respect to t. Next, average velocity. Consider a particle located initially at a point P having a position vector r1 vector. In a time interval del t, the particle is moved to the point Q having position vector r2 vector. So the displacement vector is also given by the del r vector is equal to r2 vector minus r1 vector. Okay, it is also shown in the figure. Students, here you know that what is the meaning for average velocity? Average velocity means that is the rate of change of displacement. So here the average velocity means here we consider one particle, it is located initially at a point P having the position vector r1. Okay, after the time t, that is a del t, in a time interval del t, the particle moved to the point P2. It is moved to the point is it is moved to the point is Q. It is also having the position vector, that is r2 vector, means we can calculate the displacement, that is del r is equal to r2 vector minus r1 vector. From the displacement, we can calculate the velocity, that is the rate of change of displacement is called velocity. So the average velocity is defined as the ratio of the displacement vector to the corresponding time interval. So the average velocity V average vector is equal to del r vector divided by del t. We know that the rate of change of displacement is called velocity. So the average velocity means that is a ratio of displacement vector to the corresponding time interval. So the average velocity V average vector is equal to del r vector divided by del t. Students, here you know that the velocity is one of the vector quantity. So it is a vector quantity. The direction of average velocity, it is in the direction of the displacement vector. It is along the direction of the displacement vector. So here this is the diagram. Okay. So here initially that object, it has a position, that is r1. Okay. Then finally it reaches the position is q. It has a position vector is r2 vector. So the displacement vector means that is r2 vector minus r1 vector is equal to del r vector. So here the average velocity is calculated by using the formula of V average vector is equal to del r vector divided by del t. Students, next average speed. So the average speed is defined as the ratio of total path length travelled by the particle in a time interval. Okay, the average speed means it is the ratio of total path length travelled by the particle in a time interval. So in a formula we can write average speed is equal to total path length. That is means the total length travelled by the particle by total time.